I'm Robin, and welcome to the Alchemist Path May 2020 Paletteful Packs Premier Box unboxing. So it looks like the theme for this box is going to be watercolor. This is a little travel kit. It's called the Pocket Box. It's a Van Gogh brand by Royal Talons. It looks like you get 12 pans plus a brush. You can pop the pans out, and then there's space for mixing. And the colors are provided by color code. There's a removable mixing tray. Okay, I'll go ahead and open this. This is pretty nice. Here's the little travel brush. And it's going to pop out like this, flip around, and push in like so. So that's great. Set that down. And then here are the little cakes. I'm going to peel that so you can get a better view of the colors. Whoop! There goes one of the pans, the removable pans. So the pans, as you can see, pull out just like so. I was kind of hoping it would list the color on the back of the pan, but the color's listed across the top on this plastic. So you're actually not going to want to lose this plastic. Because I don't know, as you can see here, the colors they're all listed on this plastic. So you'll want to stick this on like a white sheet of paper for reference, as long as you don't swap around your cakes. And there should be said that a mixing pan would pull out. I don't know if it would be beneath here. Let's see if it... Maybe it doesn't pull out. This is just right here in place for mixing. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. Then we get Watercolor Postcards. This is really cool. They're size 4x6, 140-pound paper, Strathmore. So far all the paper I've really received from them, from Paletteful Packs, has been Strathmore. But I'm pleased with Strathmore. It's a good paper. And it's got a nice texture to it. And how cool is that on the back? It has everything already pre-printed as a postcard. That is really cool. And you get 15. And it looks like you get a nice brush. This is called the Wee Mop. And it's 3/8 of an inch. So it's good. Get this nice and wet and just wet your paper. And then finally, you get your pad of watercolor paper, 400 series, Strathmore, 12 sheets. And it is all one tone. Now there's one thing I'm not pleased with. I could see, I opened up this here and this is damaged. This paper here. I don't know if you can see that. It's creased, horribly creased. As is this one. So I am not pleased with that at all. So I have two, this one's got creases. I got 3 bum sheets in here that are gonna be scrap. So I'm not happy about that. It's the first thing that's really I've not been pleased with. So I'm going to go ahead and set the box aside. And we'll go ahead and do a demonstration. See how these perform. Okay, so for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to use one of the pieces of paper that has creases in it that I will absolutely not be able to use. So this came out of that pad. It has the creases. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the travel kit that it came with. And I'm going to use a point of reference. I actually have some tulips that are on the other end of the table. Because I tend to do best with a point of reference. I don't do so well out of the imagination. I'm working on that aspect. So now the brushes. I'm going to use the little travel brush for detail and the wee mop. So the intention of the wee mop is to like really wet down your paper ahead of time. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Okay, and the creases, it's going to be absolutely horrible, but now I'm going to use the wee mop to lay down some of the initial pigments. So what I'd like to do is I tend to like to layer in of course the lighter shades first, and there's like an undertone. There's even an undertone in what would be the stem here. And I kind of have to go low on the paper because the rest of the paper is pretty much destroyed. So now I'm going to add in, I'm going to have to do a little mixing, but there's this color here, which is referred to as 331. It's like it's Madder Lake Deep. Let's just see what happens with that one. Just gonna lay that in. Now this is this wee mop is very, very much holds a lot of water, so you need to be prepared that that was the effect that you were really kind of aiming towards. I'm going to sop up some of this actually now. I used a textured paper towel, so that's why that looks a little bit like crap. I'll go back in now. Actually, this is a really good shade for this application that I've chosen. I work with watercolors. I tend to go heavily pigmented, so this is really different for me to be trying to do it this way with this wee mop brush. I usually go with some pretty deep pigments, and I tend to do fine lines. But I actually really like this Madder Lake Deep color that they provided here, actually. My stuff always looks like a hot mess until I get down to what I'm doing. It's kind of what I'm used to. Okay, so I am going to mix in, actually think I'm going to lighten this up a bit using this mop pen to remove some of the pigment that it is not how I wanted it to kind of go down. So basically what I did is I have a base here now for going back in and putting in the darker tones and the fine lines, which I'll use the little brush for that. This mop's it's a little out of control. It's really meant for just kind of putting down that initial wash, which is really good at wetting your paper, but and that's what the intent of that is. Now sometimes see if it runs down like that, just dab it and pick it right back up just with a paper towel, and then go back in and correct as you need correcting. Okay, so I got the basis for my tulip, and really I should let it dry a little more before I go laying in the details, but for time's sake I'm taking a lightly wetted brush here now, the travel brush. I'm going to try to just see if I can lay in this pigment if it's not too wet now. Certain areas here, start putting in some of the detail. And I like to, let me see, I can kind of spin it in the cake a little bit. And then kind of like, and then I get tons of pigment and I kind of come back in and give it. But it's gonna have to dry a little more than that. It's got, that wee mop is definitely lays down a lot of water. More than I cared to lay down. I keep giving it a twist and a spin, a twist and a spin across the cake. With very minimal water, trying to only really now use the water that's already on there because there's so much. Oh, that is a drawback apparently to a travel brush there. It just put a nice little nick right there. It's okay. I'll survive. I'm just gonna keep at it. And the key with watercolors is you gotta just keep going in and laying it down as it's drying. Keep laying down more pigment, working it in. So now it's starting to take more shape. Basically right now working on this front petal, trying to give it some depth. And it has a lot more color up front here. Okay, so now it's starting to kind of take shape. I don't know, with the lighting, it's probably pretty hard to see what's kind of taking shape here. Pretty much just using this one cake. Now you got, this brush keeps wanting to fall apart, so the travel brush, I would almost say bring some tape and tape those two sections together, because it is wanting to come apart on me and it's not making me very happy, especially because it dented my stem. So now just putting in all the really dark, heavily pigmented areas. And actually, there's a couple areas here I might need to lighten up. Maybe I'll flow in some white and see what happens with that. I guess I'll throw in, let's see what we got here. So maybe some gray. Maybe a little, see what happens. Try using the mixing pan here. Okay, try to make a deeper kind of, see this pen, it just keeps wanting to fall apart on me. I'm not pleased with the brush, travel brush. It's a little bit of a pain. Now, it can be somewhat alarming when you first put in your dark color like this, because it kind of is like, whoa, that's a little darker than I anticipated, but you can lighten it up. It's not a big deal. You can work through it. Watercolors are very forgiving. And always lighten, flow, move around, add more pigment to give it like different tones. Very forgiving. I'm just most frustrated with the travel brush. You just have to be super careful with this travel brush. Super careful. I don't like that, so I'm going to add more pigment to that. And then that's not a mistake. That can actually be worked out, so you don't have to worry about too many mistakes. So I can just, now it's a different shade completely. I'm gonna actually, this is where I want to take some, do some yellows back up with some white.